to do this problem, you have to understand that your archway looks something like this, right? Now, the distance between the two endpoints is 280 meters. Oh, centimeters, okay? So that's great. Now, you know that the axis of symmetry is going to occur exactly halfway between the start and the end. So imagine this was 0. So we went across here. That means you'd have to take 280, divide by 2, and you get 140. So that means that this distance here is 140. So that means our axis of symmetry is x is equal to 140, which means for our vertex, it's 140 right here. Now that I know that I have 140, it also says that the height of this whole thing is going to be, what was it? The height of this thing was supposed to be 216 centimeters. So that 216 centimeters is what we can use for the y value of our vertex. So now when we do our problem, we're going to use that for our vertex. So we're going to have y is equal to a x minus 140 squared plus 216. So you know that we got our vertex from here, got y value from there, and our x value from there. Now we need a point on our little graph. So imagine this represents the y-axis. So that's y. And then this along here represents the x-axis. So that means this point right here is 0, 0. That means I could substitute it in. So 0 is equal to a 0 minus 140 squared plus 216. Now, when you're doing that, you're going to have to take a moment and figure out what 140 squared is, because you're going to get 0 is equal to 1a times 140 squared. So negative 140 squared plus 216. And now that I've got that, we have to calculate the rest of this. So now you've got 140 squared. Squared is going to be 19,600. So this is going to be 19,600, and I'm going to write this with a big letter A in a different color so that I know I'm not going to go and add 216 plus 19,000, which is incorrect. So now that I have that, I go plus 216 here, and I got a 0 here. So now you see this portion right here, this 216 is a plus, and we need to move it over to the right, to the left side. So now we've got 0 minus 216. So that means we have 19,600 with the letter A in red. So maybe on a test, what you should do is, for when you're solving for A, do that in a different color so that you don't end up doing craziness like taking 216 and adding it to 19,600, which is not correct. Okay? So now that I've done that, I've got negative 216 on the left side is equal to 19,600. In red, I'm going to put A. And now we need to divide both sides by... So now we need to get rid of this 19,600 on the right side. So we divide both sides by 19,600, which means my A value is equal to Well, remember in the previous thing, we had to divide both sides by 19,600. So we got to take 216 and divide by 19,600. And let me just write that out nicely so you can see it. And so we divide both sides by 19,000. We get 216 divided by 19,600. And you end up with approximately 0.011. So that is the A value that you calculate. And then what you do is you follow the rest of the work that you had done before, and you're good to go. All right? Now what I want you to do, go back and do that problem for me, because I think what I did was I gave you a 3.5 out of 6 because you had some success with that work, but not too much. Right? So once you get your A, yes. Once you got to part C, you had some more issues. You got the basic equation, but the way you set up the equation was wrong. So follow how I did it, work through it, and then restate your new equation to look like this. Y is equal to, oh, that's a negative up here, negative 0.11 x minus 140. So remember, we did that because we used half of the distance across our parabola to find our x value, plus 216. So that is what our equation should be. Try to work through a problem like this and show me. Now, do your solution, and here is my challenge for you. Do your solution, and then what I want you to do is I want you to take a video of what you did and explain to me what you're doing in each step and email it to me so I can evaluate you. And I will change your mark on question number 9 for your quiz. Good work. Good work overall. You had some issues. It wasn't too difficult, though. You can fix this. Take care.